Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. Really excited to be shooting this video from probably my favorite city on the planet, Victoria on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada. Beauty is, weather's nice here, pretty much 12 months a year in relation to the rest of Canada anyway. So we're going to show you a bunch of different things on this project. We're not going over the top. It's not an overly big home, but we're going to show you some really cool ways to get the most bang for your buck out of using really a few of our staple lights, and primarily our up and accent light. We're going to use this in a lot of areas just to get some reflective light off a lot of features and trees and stuff that are here to highlight pathways and different garden areas without having to use a lot of path and area lights. We're also going to be using these as a down light to help create some functional lighting in some dark areas, some driveway areas. So we're going to show you some tree lighting tips as well as a bunch of other tips. So excited for this, shooting from Vancouver or Victoria on Vancouver Island, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. We're getting pretty close to getting wrapped up this project. We've got all our lights in, so basically, you know, our first step was we took a design and we went and chose all our lights. What was cool about this one is, you know, this is a client who actually had emailed in pictures for a free consultation, and because it was on Vancouver Island, we were able to do it. So we looked through all his pictures, we gave him some recommendations, and then we gave him a price to actually install it, which is not always the case because some of you guys are far away. I wish we could, but we just can't. But what was cool is then we got on site, and a lot of what we had determined from the pictures were very accurate. So we already had a pretty good idea of what we were going to do, how many lights, and we're able to size the transformers beforehand. But sometimes, and is often the case, we get on site and there's some things we want to add or some things we want to take away. So so that's how we go and then determine our transformer. So we'll always try and determine that based on a design, but the key is just leave it a little bit bigger if you're not sure, because you always want to make sure you have enough room. And if you're using an LED system, it's not as crucial that you get it the exact transformer as when you had a halogen system. With a halogen system, you had transformers that had multiple taps, and you really had to be careful that you were getting the right voltage to the right lamps, or you were just going to burn them out a lot quicker. But if you're getting an LED system, a lot of times you'll see on the box it'll say that your LED is usually rated from 9 volts all the way to 15 volts, which means it's going to operate within that range, whereas halogens was usually between 11 and 12, so you really had to do your math. With LED, that eliminates a lot of that. So a general rule of thumb, and if you have more questions about sizing your transformer and voltage drop and all that, go to YouTube and just search Lighting Doctor voltage drop. There's a video where I go into a lot of detail and show you a chart and everything. But general rule of thumb, on 300 feet of wire, you can put up to 100 watts and not really have any voltage drop issues, as long as you're using a larger transformer like this that has a 15 volt tap, which means you're starting at 15 volts and all the way down the line you might get down to 10 volts, but that's still going to run that light, and it's still going to be as bright as it should because that bulb is rated from 9 to 15 volts. Again, assuming it's a good one. That's why we always say not all products are created equal, so you have to do some due diligence there. We do a lot of that in our kits, but just buyer beware. So basically, it's really simple to go and size your transformers. You take all your lights, you add up all the wattage of all the lights. So if you have a bunch of 5 watt up lights and you've got let's call it 20 of them, well that comes out to 100 watts. But you want to size that transformer a little bit larger, because depending on the efficiency of that bulb, the more efficient it is, the closer that actual wattage is going to be to 5 watts. But the least efficient or the lesser efficient bulbs are going to sometimes be almost 10 watts, even though the box says 10 watts, and that's something called their actual, it's called their VA, their actual wattage. So you got to be careful about that. That's why I always say size it a little bit more. But general rule of thumb, add up all your lights, and then size your transformer 20, 30, 40% more than that. If you don't want to have to worry about voltage drop, get a good transformer that has a 15 volt tap, and you can run 100 watts on 300 feet of line without running into that issue of losing any brightness at the end of the line. But that's basically it when it comes to a transformer. The only other thing I was going to mention is the timer options. Now, you know, you see a lot of the dinosaur looking timers where it's this little digital, or this little analog wheel that you got all these little tabs you got to stick out. They got these different digital timers that you got to be a rocket science to operate. The nice thing is that a transformer like this, we use one of these. It's from Wion. It's a Wi-Fi timer. But basically, there's dozens of these on the market, and if you have a smart home system, have a look if they already have an outdoor plug, because that's all this is. It's basically a Wi-Fi plug for outdoors, and all you have to do is, now when you go plug this transformer into your GFCI receptacle, all you're going to do is you're going to flip this into the on position. So you're just going to leave your transformer in all the time. But this little thing here, where usually you would have a photocell, which again I highly recommend against, because photocells just fail all the time. You have to have your transformer in the right position, because if it's in a dark shaded position, your lights are going to be on all the time. So all those kinds of things. But to get back to it, basically where it says to plug in your timer or your photocell or whatever, all you have to do is unplug that, plug in your Wi-Fi plug, whether that be this one or whether that be one based on the smart home system you have. Go and plug it into there, and then you plug this guy into your plug-in, and then you just close that up, leave it in the on position, and then you can go and operate everything from your Wi-Fi plug. And usually most of these, you don't need a hub anymore. They have their own app, so you can just go download it, and it usually walks you through how to do that in 2 or 3 steps, and all of a sudden now you have a Wi-Fi landscape lighting system, but you haven't paid tons and tons of money for it. Another thing that we do a lot of times, because I get asked all the time, well, in my front yard, my backyard, I want to be able to zone them different so I can turn them on at different times, kind of like a sprinkler system. There is some really good systems that are out there that do that. They tend to be quite costly. They're great systems, but it depends on your budget. If you don't want to do that and spend that kind of money on a system, just go and use a separate transformer. You know, in this case, on this project, that's what we're doing. We've got one of these for the backyard and one for the front. Luckily, because we have this timer, we can run both those controllers on the exact same app and set them up with totally different schedules, which is what's cool about going and adding something like this to your transformers. And it doesn't have to be this one. It can be basically any outdoor Wi-Fi plug that you go plug into here is going to work. So make your life a lot easier. Turn your transformer into a Wi-Fi system, go and size it properly, be safe, build it, select it larger in case you want to add on down the road too. So hopefully that helps answer your transformer questions. But like I said, if you need more definition on voltage drop and stuff, go to YouTube and search voltage drop lighting doctor, and I guarantee you'll find something. So we've pretty much wrapped up our project. I hope you guys have enjoyed that and found these videos helpful. And again, landscape lighting is not that tough. I think anybody can do it. There's just a couple simple steps. I mean, obviously, get your design, figure out what you want. If you need help with that, that's why we do our free consultations. Just email me some pictures and I can help you find out what's going to work best on your property. We have our try it before you buy a light, where basically you can buy 1 or 2 fixtures, go plug them into a battery pack, walk around the property and see what's going to look good. So that's another tool to help you come up with the design. Once you got the design, you got your lights, then you just go and you set them around the property, go and place them, start placing them, get a rubber mallet, do that, run your wire, leave extra wire as much as possible, because you never know when you're gonna make mistakes or want to add on down the road. Go and make your wiring connections. Just be sure you have those 2 properties that we talked about, waterproofing and that mechanical connection, so they don't pull apart. Once you got them wired, go and set up your transformer, hook everything up, and go and test those lights. Fire it on, make sure they're all working before you go and bury everything. And my suggestion, especially if you haven't done this before, is come back that first night before you go and bury everything. Make sure you have all the lights where you want them placed. Make sure you're getting the look that you want, and once you do that, then come back the next day, bury all your wire. There's all kinds of other videos that we have on YouTube for how to bury the landscape lighting wire, how to tunnel under sidewalks, and so much more. If you have any questions about how to install your own landscape lighting, just go to YouTube and search lighting doctor, how to, whatever, and I guarantee you'll find it. So I hope you guys find that helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to get your free consultation and send me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca.